Hi, welcome to Kevin Alone's audiobook reading Start With Why by Simon Sinek. Part 2.5. This is not because they're better, but because they become markers or symbols of the values and beliefs we hold dear. Those products and brands make us feel like we belong, and we feel a kinship with others who buy the same things. Fan clubs started by customers are often formed without any help from the company itself. These people form communities, in person or online, not just to share the love of a product with others, but to be in the company of people like them. The decisions have nothing to do with the company or its products. They have everything to do with the individuals themselves. Our natural need to belong also makes us good at spotting those things that don't belong. It's the sense we get, a feeling, something deep inside us, something we can't put in words, allows us to feel how some things just fit and some things just don't. Dell selling MP3 players just does not feel right because Dell defines itself as a computer company. So the only things that belong are computers. Apple defines itself as a company on a mission, and so anything they do that fits that definition feels like it belongs. In 2004, they produced a promotional iPod in partnership with the iconoclastic Irish rock band U2. That makes sense. They would never have produced a promotional iPod with Celine Dion, even though she sold vastly more records than U2 and may have a bigger audience. U2 and Apple belong together because they share the same values and beliefs. They both push boundaries. It would not have made sense if Apple released a special iPod with Celine Dion. As big as her audience may be, the partnership just does not align. Look no farther than Apple's TV commercial. I'm a Mac and I'm a PC for a perfect representation of who a Mac user needs to be to feel like they belong. In the commercial, the Mac user is a young guy, always in jeans and a t-shirt, always relaxed, and always having a sense of humor, poking fun at the system. The PC, as defined by Apple, is in a suit, older, stodgy. To fit in with Mac, you have to be like Mac. Microsoft responded to Apple with its own I'm a PC campaign, which depicts people from all walks of life identifying themselves as PC. Microsoft included many more people in their ads: teachers, scientists, musicians, and children, as one would expect from the company that supplies 95% of the computer operating systems to belong to that crowd. You have to be everyone else. One is not better or worse. It depends on where you feel like you belong. Are you a rabble rouser or are you with the majority? We are drawn to leaders and organizations that are good at communicating what they believe. Their ability to make us feel like we belong, to make us feel special, safe, and not alone is part of what gives them the ability to inspire us. Those whom we consider great leaders all have an ability to draw us close and to command our loyalty. And we feel a strong bond with those who are also drawn to the same leaders and organizations. Apple users feel a bond with each other. Harley riders are bonded to each other. Anyone who is drawn to hear Dr. Martin Luther King gives his I Have a Dream speech, regardless of race, religion, or sex, stood together in that crowd as brothers and sisters, bonded by the shared values and beliefs. They knew they belonged together because they could feel it in their gut. Gut decisions don't happen in your stomach. The principles of the Golden Circle are much more than a communications hierarchy. Its principles are deeply grounded in the evolution of human behavior. The power of why is not opinion, it's biology. If you look at a cross section of the human brain from the top down, you see that the levels of the Golden Circle correspond precisely with the three major levels of the brain. The newest area of the brain, our Homo sapien brain, is the neocortex, which corresponds with what level? The neocortex is responsible for rational and analytical thought and language. The middle two sections comprise the limbic brain. The limbic brain is responsible for all our feelings, such as trust and loyalty. It is also responsible for all human behavior and all our decision making, but it has no capacity for language. When we communicate from the outside in, when we communicate what we do first, yes, people can understand vast amounts of complicated information, like facts and features, but it does not drive behavior. But when we communicate from the inside out, we're talking directly to the part of the brain that controls decision making. And our language part of the brain allows us to rationalize those decisions. The part of the brain that controls our feelings has no capacity for language. It is this disconnection that makes putting our feelings into words so hard. We have trouble, for example, explaining why we married the person we married. We struggle to put into words the real reasons why we love them. So we talk around it or rationalize it. Oh, she's funny. She's smart. We start. But there are jobs or there are lots of funny and smart people in the world, but we don't love them and we don't want to marry them. There's obviously more to falling in love than just personality and competence. Rationally, we know our explanation isn't the real reason. It is how our loved ones makes us feel. But those feelings are really hard to put into words. So when we push, we start to talk around it. You may even say things that don't make any rational sense. She completes me, you might say, for example. What does that mean, and how do you look for someone who does that you can marry them? That's a problem with love. We only know when we found it because it just feels right. The same is true for other decisions. When a decision feels right, we have a hard time explaining why we did what we did. Again, the part of the brain that controls decision making doesn't control language, so we rationalize. This complicates the value of polls and market research. Asking people why they chose you over another may provide wonderful evidence of how they have rationalized the decision. It does not shed much light on the true motivation for the decision. It's not that people don't know, it's that they have trouble explaining why they do what they do. Decision making and the ability to explain those decisions exists in different parts of the brain. This is where gut decisions come from. They just feel right. There's no part of the stomach that controls decision making. It all happens in the limbic brain.